Just got home. Have a guess what the time is. 10:48. 10:48. Oh, I'm so cooked. It's Friday, which only means one thing, is it is stage 5 of the 7 crits in 8 days challenge. The Garmin watch is not happy with me. HRV, -5. Recovery, it doesn't even give me an hour's left. It's just a skull and crossbones. Then if I change pages, it's just a coffin. So, safe to say we're not looking good. We're not recovered enough. But that's not going to stop us from invading Footscray Cycling Club down at Vic Uni for a proper crack. I'm off to meet the guys at Albert Park. Let's head there now. We'll pick things up then. Let's go. All right, there's no denying that the ride out to Werribee is a bit of a long one, especially if you're coming from the south side. And to make matters worse, when you have to backtrack because you've dropped your microphone on the way out there. I was lucky enough just to make the start, but yeah, it is a bit of a long ride. Ended up totaling about 170 Ks. So yeah, there's no denying that it is a long day out on the bike. But the good news was we got to explore some new roads. Here we're on the Green Bridge, the famous Green Bridge that recently reopened to get people safely over to the west side. And here we are exploring the back arse of Footscray. So, yep, you get absolutely everything on the ride out to Footscray, but let's get into this racing because that's where the action kicks off. And action there was because I picked up a punny somewhere along the way, which I had to throw a dyno plug in there, which I was just hoping that it was going to stick. But fortunately, promo incoming, I had the St. Cloud E-Pump to get me sorted before the race. That's right, this little beauty here saved my life. And I tell you what's great about these things as well, is I've been able to seat a tubeless tyre with one of them. Incredible stuff. It's a must-have for any birthday or Christmas or Easter or whatever holiday you want to play on. Go pick up one of those. They're a ripper little unit and definitely recommend, especially if you're going on a bit of a trip, traveling or backpacking. Yeah, pick them up at St. Cloud. Link is below. After we were read the riot act by the race connoisseurs, we'll set on our way for stage 5 in the 7 crits in 7 days challenge, for where we race 7 crits in 7 days. The Footscray Cycling Club, extremely accommodating bunch of humans. Like I said before, we were struggling to find a Friday crit race, but I reached out to the team at Footscray and they were like, yeah, we would love to support you. And we wanted to give back where we could. So we brought out a whole bunch of riders and they got one of the biggest fields on one of their Friday crits. And a couple of the big dogs showed up as well. Look in the rear cam, that Dan Purcell, and we have gone head to head multiple times in Masters racing. Proper sprinter, super fast and super tactical bike racer. I don't get to race against Dan that much, but when I do, I know I'm in for a bit of a fight. The course itself, it's a closed circuit, which is so nice to not have to worry about marshals or cars. That's why they can run it. It's held down at VU University, Victorian Uni, and it's a closed circuit, as you can see here. Very straightforward, pretty exposed. So the wind does play a bit of a part of the race, and it's also probably got one of the best finishing straights. Look how long that main straight is. If you want to practice lead outs, or you want to practice sprinting, get down to VU and practice it there. Because that's where I want to test the legs a little bit and start a little bit of an attack just to see where everybody is in the race, but also get a sense of what my legs are up to. Obviously, this is the 5th race, and especially after riding for 60 Ks or whatever to get out here, safe to say the legs are pretty sore. But so are all the 7-7 competitors. There we go. Nico has just gone past us. John's in the mix as well. And yeah, it's a fiery field. And, you know, when gaps like this opened up, I wasn't super happy with it. But I was also like, these guys are not just going to gift us the win here. We're going to have to fight tooth and nail to make sure we get away. One that I do like about the course is they've got that little berg there. Now, it's safe to say that it's no Jebel Hafit in Amman,
but I think it's got just enough to break up the race and make it hard enough. I just wish the straight was a little bit longer here, because as soon as you come on the descent, you're basically straight into a corner. So it does make it hard to really send it, similar to what we saw at Easton. But hey, it's still fun, and I liked it to add just a little bit to the race, and that's what we like. We just like something to mix it up instead of just a standard 4-corner crit, which, although they can be fun too. Now, Footscray used to have a course out at Drake Avenue, which was my favourite course, and there's a couple of videos, one of my most infamous videos, actually, I'll link it below. That was a sick course, you know. It had everything, lots of twisty turns. It was a really fast circuit as well. And being classic in the outskirts of Footscray, a couple of burnt-out parked cars there to mix things up made it nice and interesting for us racers. So we always got something out there. Now, coming out to Footscray, I didn't know the field at all. I knew a couple of the boys that obviously have been doing the 7 crits in 7, but that was pretty much it. Dan Purcell, yeah, I knew, but far from that, not that many. It wasn't until I launched this bit of attack, the cream rose to the top, and you start to see who's actually out there and who's a proper hitter. And there's a fair few of them. We'll start off here, number 19. That's Ray Tang. He races A-grade at Glenvale and is an aero monster. Number 14 there, that's Daniel Overton, super strong rider, and we've been able to break away and get a nice tasty little gap, but they're making me earn it. 700 watts in the wheels in order to get away. I'm telling you guys, Footscray, they've got all the hitters down there, and they're putting me to the sword. Unfortunately, Daniel realises it's all too hard, so now it's just me and Ray to get on with it. But look how aero the man is. Although I don't know if the UCI would like that sock height there. Let me know in the comments what you think below. If you think that sock height is too high. I don't know what the official ruling is, but it's getting dangerously close to triathlon spec. And I think we can all agree that none of us want to see triathlon spec going around here on a crit course. He flicks the elbow and off I go, hit the corner, and I'm just trying to get aero. I'm also just assessing the situation, knowing full well we've still got 36 Ks to go. The race has just started, and already I've gone pretty deep into the red there. Jono's marked it, and that's where JB senses an opportunity, and he launches one just on the left-hand side there, promptly followed by Matthew Harris, a Canadian proper strong rider, another Glenvale addict. I think he's racing in A-grade as well. Correct me in the comments, and we'll actually see Matthew tomorrow at the Hot Diggity Dogs St Kilda Crit at Albert Park. So make sure you hit that subscribe button so you get notified when that one drops in a couple of weeks' time. And whilst you're playing around down there near the like button and stuff, hit that too. But make sure you chuck a comment in if you want to compete in the 7 crits in 7 days challenge. Do you want to be involved in it? It's guaranteed to make you faster, as you'll see from my results at the Melbourne to Warney. And that's a video that I've got on the editing table as well. So make sure you get subscribed for that one. But yeah, get involved next year. It's going to be around a similar time. I'm already going to be speaking with clubs to get them involved. It was an incredible experience and guaranteed to make you faster. And if you want to be fast, speak to Nick Owen. The man's flying, and he's doing a whole bunch of good stuff online as well. I'll chuck a link to his website and where you can reach out to him in the comments below. But back to this race, there's been numerous attacks, and you can see in the rear cam that there are some desperate riders trying to get across this, because this is a very dangerous move. And we've got our friend Niels Pollitt driving the pace to get across there. Nick Owen, the man himself, doesn't want this to get away, and he's getting the entire peloton motivated to bring this one across. Unfortunately, Dan Purcell is also one of them that doesn't want to miss out on this, so safe to say this has been brought back, but wait for that next counter. You can see it in the man's eyes behind his Oakley Sutros that he's ready to smash the bunch as he looks behind. He notices he hasn't had to do much, and they've just given us a bit of a gap. Now, I've just been in the last move, and I was hoping to have a little bit of Rico, but I'm not going to let Dan, basically my number one opposition here, just roll off the front to race victory. And I'm also thinking, man, he's not a bad breakaway partner to get away with. He's definitely one of the strongest riders in the race. So, you know, I mean, I'm caught in almost three minds if that's a thing. Do we let him just roll off the front and wear down his legs? Do I join him? and basically work with him? Or do we form another group? And that's basically what's happened here. Again, I've spoken about it. The cream has risen to the top. And now we've got the hitters all formed up. Number 17, Dan Purcell. JB's in the mix. There's Ray. And don't forget number 9, Matthew, the Canadian, have been able to get across to this move. But we've got a couple of extra riders that have decided to come and play games with us. Now, unfortunately, I can't catch their numbers by looking in the rear cam, so apologies. But they've been able to get across. I'm telling you, the field down at Footscray, these guys are here to put it to us. We're not just going to walk away with the victory. Nah, they're going to make us earn it. They're going to make us work for it. And that's what I do. I drop another 1,000-watt bomb to try to split them to get away. I do not want to see any other riders being dragged across by my coattails. No, I want to create that gap, surge across, and jump in the draft of Dan here. And that's what's happened. Once again, being able to form a little gap, especially coming into the crossy headwind uphill section of the course. That's where it gets really difficult. But the heart rate, look at it, 181 beats. And I'm going deep. I'm going deep real early, 33 Ks to go. Wow, lucky I've got that Vert Nutrition on board to get that carbs down. Man, I just realized that this episode is just a sponsor city. Wonder how many more we can fit in by the end of the race. Chuck it in the comments. Let me know what you think. I think I've already put in 4 or 5 sponnies in there. I'm sure we've got plenty of time to get a few more in there too. But what do we think about this break? It's looking pretty good. Although, can you see in the distance there's one rider trying to bridge across? As I wipe the sealant off the front cam, you can just see a rider coming around the distance there. Do you reckon he can make it? I mean, we're hooking here, 47 kilometers an hour, but we can't rule out how strong some of these Footscray riders are. You absolutely cannot rule them out, but I reckon that might just be a little bit too far for that rider to get across. But what we will do is, whilst we watch the rider suffer and try to make the break, is we'll talk about the riders who are in the break, because it's a fair accomplishment to get across here. So, obviously, we see JB there riding right across my wheel. We've spoken about Ray Tang there. On the left-hand side, that's Dan Purcell in the colourful kind of camo kit that's not really camouflage. This guy here on the yellow Jumbo-Visma Cervelo, that's Paul Glowacki. If I pronounce your name wrong, you won't be the first, and you're probably not going to be the last. But super strong rider that's been able to get across to this and just is playing it smart, not pulling any turns, and just staying hidden, and I love that. He's gone full aero spec too. I like that helmet, although I bet he's got a pretty hot head. And then you can see our 7-7 competitor, Sammy Muscat, who's not only a freak athlete, but doing incredible things for the Heart Foundation. So go and check out him. Now, look, how's our breakaway companion doing? You can see the arrows fairly faded. That's the sort of faith I'm giving that guy to get across. Fade me, fam. He's all over. He's done and dusted, but bloody hell, good effort from him. Anyway, let's skip further in this race to see if this break can actually stay away. You can see a rampaging peloton behind, but do we have the watts to stay away from these boys? Let's skip in and find out. All right, we're going to pick this one up coming into 6 kilometers left, and unfortunately, we've lost a few of our breakaway compadres. That's right. Unfortunately, Sammy Muscat's left us, and Paul have both gone. They've been dropped out the back, but they put in a valiant effort to stay with the likes of these extremely strong riders. Now, it's safe to say I didn't make it easy for those guys. I did launch a couple of little attacks to try to drop the dead weight, and so did Ray. You can see he's gone off the front here. This is much earlier in the race. This grab's taken with 20 Ks to go. So Ray's gone off the front here. I didn't want to carry Ray to the line. So just as I got past him, I lighted up to try to create a bit of a gap. But the man's way too strong. These guys are bred differently out in Footscray, and he was able to hold the wheel with absolute ease. So I look like a bit of a knobhead, to be honest. But that's what racing's all about. You're just trying to whittle down the group, try to get it nice and small so you can take a less amount of riders to the line. But I've been saying it all race. The cream's risen to the top, and this is what we have left. So we're coming into 5 Ks left within this race. And as a sprinter, I just want to keep my powder dry, trying to keep the nose dry. And I'm not do as I say, not as I do. Don't go launching little attacks off the front because you're just going to be burning your matches. So if I was to do this moment again, I'd be out the back, just sniffing around and not doing any work. But I just want to make the race a bit of fun, right? Want to put a few people under pressure where I can. I think the legs must have felt pretty good at this stage. So yeah, good on me for trying to animate the race. But yeah, maybe silly in hindsight because now I know full well I'm going to be counted after this move. And look at the heart rate. It's creeping up. 174 beats. Look in the rear cam. That's when Brooker decides to hit me with the counter. Takes the long way round. Dan Purcell's quickly following. The rest of the peloton is chasing after him. I've had to then spike up to another effort. And this is why it was such a dumb move to begin with. In order to stay with it, and I'm going real deep here. 181 beats, starting a red line now. We rip it around this corner. But no, I think I'm pretty safe here. Another little effort, but there's a lot of looking around. Who's going to be that next counter that's going to send one up the road? Now, for those, if you are extremely fit, you'd be able to whack them again here, but, you know, it's almost silly. Like I said, 4 kilometers left to go. There's only a few laps left, to be honest. We haven't given the 3-lap sign at this stage. That's probably going to be coming around next lap. So what we might do then is we'll skip to 3 to go. And we'll talk play-by-play and see how this one's going to play out. Who have you got your money on? Who's taken out this race? As Dan Purcell tightens the shoes, the man's getting serious. We love to see it. Let's skip in with 3 laps to go. Alrighty, here it is. 3 laps to go. Love that Bunnings hat. Nice and sun smart out here in Footscray. And with 3 laps to go, and as a fake sprinter, I am just wanting to keep out of the wind. I don't want to be on the front on the last lap, although I say this knowing full well how this last lap goes. So, yeah, just wait and see. Wait and see how it plays out. I just want to be around the back, getting the heart rate nice and low, tighten the shoes, getting myself prepared for what is going to be the longest sprint of my life. Brooker, on the other hand, cannot wait for a sprint because he can't sprint. Well, he can, but he just can't sprint as fast as the likes of Dan Purcell. So he's trying other moves to whittle down this group so he doesn't have to take myself or Dan to the line. But unfortunately, all of us are fit enough in order to hold the wheel. And like I said in the earlier clip, there's not enough environmental changes on this course to really do any damage. So we rip it around here. Pedal on the outside, take that corner through, and now there's just a whole bunch of looking around. That's 1 lap done. Ray decides to jump on the gas a little bit, try to stretch everybody out, but it's not going to happen. Here we go. Coming into 2 laps to go. So this is the time where you can pipe up in the comments. Let me know who's going to win this race. I'd love to know. Could Dan Purcell take out Fresh Crits? Or I have my my good luck run over Dan Purcell. We have to wait to find out. Another lap round this corner. How beautiful is that sunset, actually? Oh, absolutely stunning. And I wasn't actually thinking about it at this stage, the long old ride home, but it's probably about 6:30 at this stage. So, yeah, it's a long old day for Fresh Crits to the 7 in 7 crew. Once more time up this mini berg. Nice and easy. You don't want to be on the front here. The shoes want to be nice and tight. You're going to be in the drops at this stage as well because elbows out is key. Also, lower center of gravity and means when you're in the drops, you can respond a little bit quicker to those moves. Now, I don't want to be on the right-hand side of that wheel there because that's a good way just to box myself in. You want to have that exit strategy. So I'd like to be wheel to the left side, so basically on Matt's left hip. That just means you got a bit of an exit strategy. So yeah, we're just talking just to wrap up the final lap. Not much is happening here. 35 k's an hour. We're barely ticking over 100 watts. Everybody knows what the deal is now. It's tactical. 1.2 k's left. Do you want to be on the front right now? I'd rather not be, but I don't want to be too far back either. So I move up to the front, knowing full well that I'm happy to take us through the next part of the course. That's fine, because I'm just going to flick the elbow and force somebody through at the back half of this course. So I'm not leading out the sprint. I don't really want to be doing that. So I don't mind sitting on the front here, nice and low watts. But this is where the game of foxing can take place, because you could be sitting on the front, flick someone through, no one comes through, and you almost come to a dead stop, which is, again, dangerous because then you're just going to get attacked. When the speeds are high, it's hard to attack because if you're going 50 kilometers an hour, it's hard to go 60. Anyway, we're getting ahead of ourselves. Last time up the berg, and this is where I swing nice and wide and I force one of the riders to come through. And there goes Ray. I'm happy to sit on his wheel. I'm not sure what his sprint is like, but we all know full well that the man's got a big tank. Now, I want to protect this inside line because I've left that door wide open there for someone to come through on the inside. And I don't know why I'm on the right hip of Ray. And that's when Dan goes. He tries to go on the inside. He gets chopped. And now I've just made an absolute clinical mistake. The door's been left wide open. I'm now fighting for wheels. Third wheel stuck behind Brooker. Ray clips a pedal around that corner, nearly brings everyone down. The man's trying to sprint, but you got to get out of the saddle, son. You got to get out of the saddle. This is where I open up my sprint. 1,100 watts in order to chase down Purcell, dipping into 1,200 watts. Dan's too quick, and he tells me all about it. The man rolls me. Good on you, Dan. I love that celebration. Cob it up, you fresh crits, he said. Nah, don't mind it at all. A proper hard race down at Footscray. I think we need to unpack that last little sprint because there was a fair bit happening. Ray nearly fucking crashed out. I was caught like a few wheels back. It was carnage. So let's rewind and we'll go back and check out the last little bit of that sprint. And we'll talk through where I probably should have done something differently. All right, straight back into it here. 600 meters to go. Now, the first mistake I'm making here is not being on the left side of Ray. I want to be right in that left gutter here because that's going to block off any sort of attack coming up the inside. And that's where Purcell takes it. He goes straight at that inside. And look how far that's pushed me. Really right off the wheel. Now, what's my choice here? Do I take Josh's? Do I take Ray? Regardless, I'm in a bad position. And say it with me, kids. Don't pedal through corners. And that's what Ray does. He clips a pedal, nearly kills us all. And then from here, it's pretty much all over. How many bike lengths am I trying to close there? 4, maybe 5. I'm not that good of a sprinter. And Purcell has it. So in hindsight, what's the number one rule I should have done is close that front door. Don't let Purcell up the inside. Don't let any sprinter up the inside. That's your space to guard. I should have been up on that inside, but that's what you learn. That's why it's so great to run cameras on your bike because you can go back and have a bit of a look and say, hey, this is the mistake I made. This is what I need to do better. But I swear to God, I reckon I've left the door open on that left-hand side on corners and things like that so many times. So again, do as I say, not as I do. And if you want some advice, if you want someone to give you some advice on how to go about racing, check out Nick Owen. He's got a fantastic platform there, reaching out to all cyclists and triathletes, and I don't know, even runners maybe. So go check him out. The link is here now. Check him out at school. It's some interesting stuff there. So that's a wrap. I think we need to discuss points, so let's have a chat about them now. All right, so this is where we stand now. Jen with a 6-point lead over me, and Jono Hawes made up some placings over his win on Wednesday. And then in the mid-table, neck and neck. There's going to be some movers and shakers from this race because Jaden took out his first place in B grade. That's right, 7-7 just creates champions. So let's see how this is going to change things. I reckon Jen might be in a bit of trouble as she drops down into second position. Jaden puts on the afterburners and finds himself in third. Jono is fourth on countback over Sam, and then the rest of the table just kind of peters out like that. So still plenty on offer here for the illustrious 7-7 champion. Tune in next week because we're off to St Kilda. We're racing on the Hot Diggity Dog circuit at Albert Park. It's a twilight crit. It's awesome. Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out. Hit that like button, and I can't wait to see you next week. I'm glad my front tire held together. You can see the just hanging in there. I hope it's going to last for the 70-odd K ride home. So that's a wrap for 7 crits in 7 days, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks again for watching. Stay your upper side down, and I'll see you all soon. Ciao.